I try myself to go to crime scenes. And I've gone to a good portion of them since I've been prosecutor. And I've seen some terrible things. You know, most of them I'm able to compartmentalize and keep it moving. There's a handful of things that have stuck with me that, you know, I think about. And that's one of them.
If you record a fight seeing somebody whose life may be in danger and you don't do nothing to break it up and intervene, but you pull your phone out to record it, it needs to be a $5,000 fine or put their ass in jail. And if they too young, we need to lock their mama up.
Langford Cunningham. But boy, the text line is going crazy. People just love him. What a great message.
Love a straight talker.
St. Louis man says he had to lose his sight in order to find his vision.
See, today we forgot about the message. We have to get back to a message.
And it's the commercialization and exploitation of our culture that continues this vicious cycle of death, darkness, and destruction.
Got a lot of the females rapping today, okay? They twerking, they're doing prostitution on records, leading little girls into the strip clubs. That leads into human trafficking. They don't promote Taylor Swift like that. Right. But our black women gotta get prostituted in the industry. All the burgers, boy, the baby mamas, man, they feed their kids nuggets, french fries. You telling me they are putting poison in their mouth?
I'm telling you, it's a weapon of mass destruction.
Elon Musk made a comment that hands up, don't shoot, was a hoax. How you feel about that, Mike Brown Sr.?
Those words would have never been said if that would have never happened to Mike Brown Jr. So what you saying? What happened to Mike Brown Jr. was fake? Hey, people be playing with the wrong folks, man.
They left the responsibility onto you to search for your daughter. You didn't get no assistance from the police department. You didn't get no assistance from the political officials.
No, I did not.
Let's elaborate more on this service station.
A human trafficking ring that was going on at that mobile. They arrested the guy, and as soon as he got out, the station was back open once again.
It's the Blind City Podcast takeover, you know?
You know who's the most dangerous man in the world is?
Who?
A blind man with vision. Thank you. Reba Dirty. BlindCityThePodcast.com. I'm your host, LC. I had to lose my sight to find my vision, help save these ghetto children in the USGs, United States Ghettos of America. And speaking of G's, I got everybody's favorite, the triple OG, the Godfather, Mr. Sims. How you doing?
I'm doing well. How you doing today, Blind?
Oh, man, we doing real good today, man. We got the prosecutor coming to the city, man.
I saw him pull up in parking lot.
St. Louis County Prosecutor Wesley Bell has just pulled up to the city.
Yes, sir.
And we got a lot to talk about what's going on in the county and the city. Oh, well, we got a lot. Chaos or community, because right now it's pure chaos.
Chaos.
But we got to get it back to the community. Speaking of the community, let me say this. I'm saluting 314 Day, St. Louis. What's the other day in St. Louis? This hoodie was designed by Keywan of the St. Lunatics, Nelly and the St. Lunatics. Keywan was a member of that group, and he gave me this sweatshirt. So I'm promoting St. Louis, and that's what we got to do. Black businesses. We got to support black businesses. Yeah. We got to understand the power of the black dollar. Isn't that right, Trip OG?
Absolutely. I will agree 100%.
We have to get where Atlanta is at. Atlanta understands the black dollar.
Yes.
We have to empower the black dollar, but we have to work together, Trip OG.
Ain't no doubt about that. We need the people. We get them power back.
You got that right. We're giving the power back to the people, but the people got to understand. The people got to understand how important Blind City, the podcast, is to the community. Because we got some fools that want to give us our props, bro.
That's correct.
Yeah, you don't want to give us our props because you feel I don't like you and you don't like me. See, we got to quit that as black people, man. We can disagree, but still get the goals and accomplishments done in our community.
That's correct.
Martin Luther King says no personal issues should be bigger than our damn community.
That's right.
But we got some idiots that's still in their feelings. What I need to do? Get y'all a box of tampons? Come on, man. Some Kleenex and some lipstick. I'm talking to the fellas. They already wearing wigs today. Uh-oh.
We got to knock the door down. Take the bag back. You got to kick the door down, take the bag back.
Yeah.
The women got it.
Yeah. Let's slow down. Let's slow down, man. For real. But anyway, We're going to start the show, man. You know, this part right here, people say they love this segment. Straight bozos.
Ooh, the clowns.
Oh, man. Speaking of clowns, Mr. Sims, tell him what's worse than a clown.
A rodeo clown.
Tell him what a rodeo clown do, Mr. Sims.
He playing the bullshit.
That's what they do. Play in the bullshit in our community.
Absolutely.
So here we go. Straight bozos. This is what's going on the internet, people. The vice president, I speak on the Democrats not being in touch with young people, but they try to get in touch with young people when it comes time for them to vote.
Yes.
But you have to have a relationship if you want them to vote.
Continuously.
You can't come to them at the last minute because it's voting season coming up, and all of a sudden you want to be hip hop.
Right.
Okay? You got to understand the culture. So we're going to listen to the vice president, and this is at her house. Check this out.
Kamala Harris, she invited an HBCU reception at the White House. She invited a large amount of students from historically Black communities and colleges to come through the White House. And when they got there, you know, she received them. She had chicken. She had a DJ drop that beat.
Sexy Red, son.
I'm at the VP house. They playing Sexy Red.
Amazing. Wow. This your vice president. You put this clown in office. You put this clown in office. Stop it. Stop it. This is what I'm talking about. See, I didn't trust her anyway. You know how many Negroes she locked up when she was, what was she? What was her job before? She was a prosecutor, wasn't she?
I think she was correct.
She was something, but she locked up a whole lot of brothers on weed at that time.
Yes, she moved up the ladder.
Yeah. And she still ain't got no damn sense. Playing Sexy Red. She not playing Sade.
Live.
She not even playing Beyonce. She not even playing Taylor Swift.
No.
You endorse.
Tripping.
And nothing against Sexy Red. She from St. Louis. But you vice president? You gonna endorse twerking? And you finna run against Trump? You just gave him some fire.
Leverage.
Oh my God. Now let's see what Sexy Red has to say. Since she's back in Sexy Red and playing her music, giving her a platform, let's see what Sexy Red, who she voting for this coming election.
Do you think more people are going to support Trump now in the hood or no?
Yeah, they support him in the hood. Because at first, I don't think people was with him like they thought he was racist, saying little and, you know, against women. But once he started getting Black people out of jail and giving people their free money, oh, baby, we love Trump. We need him back in office.
This is what I'm talking about. So all you Democrats out there, you need to write her. You supporting a rapper that don't support you or Biden. Now, you know, that's straight bozo.
Bozo.
You know how that look to the young people that follow her? Who you think they gonna listen to? They gonna listen to the vice president or they gonna listen to Sexy Red for everybody 25 and under?
Yeah.
They gonna go with Sexy Red.
Talk to him.
So, vice president, I don't know who's on your staff, but they need to be fired. Ain't that what Trump used to say? You fired. Yeah. Let's go to the next. Man, we on a roll. Straight bozo.
They running out of the closet.
Straight bozo. Oh, we have another one back here in St. Louis. I keep speaking of my city. I love my city. But something about the Black people in St. Louis and white people, they love a brother who is not threatening.
Mm-hmm.
They love a brother who can't even stand up for his community.
Okay.
But he speaks on love, and we're 49th in public education. We're in poverty. The crime is out of control. We got high school kids slamming their head into the concrete and everybody with the camera phones taking pictures. But he talking about love. Man, hey, man, let me tell you something. You got to earn love.
Yes.
What did Tina Turner say? What love got to do with it?
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? To earn love, you got to get out in the streets and make changes.
Positive changes.
You got to create love in the community by making changes in the community, by reaching the people, educating the people. That's love. We just not telling people, I love. Shit, I know people that love to take drugs. I know people that's in love with fentanyl. I know people that's in love with alcohol. That's love. Huh, look, play this clown, man. Straight bozo.
Because I will always return where there was good hospitality shown. Guess what? We at John's, y'all. We in the hood, baby. We in Walnut Park. We doing good. Hey, that's what's up. Hey, who do we have over here?
Anthony.
Hey, Mr. Anthony, what's up?
I just wanted to say shout out to a couple of friends of mine, you know, that mean well.
Why does he always interview black people in special education?
You ain't said nothing about what you wanted to say and who
Why
did all
say intelligent black people?
Oh, yes, sir.
Yeah. Right, stick to the script, Anthony.
This is what they like in St. Louis.
Chaos. Tell them why you came in. Why you come in?
I came in because I was looking for help for someone to help me out to get on the bus.
Stop it.
And the piece of
straight bozo. And you like him. You hold him up as a role model in your community. And he goes interview the slowest black people in the hood, the unintelligent black people. And I'm not talking about them. It is what it is.
Absolutely.
You heard the dude talk like he in special education. Why he don't talk to nobody of substance like we talk with Mr. Wesley Bell today? But y'all love the buffoonery. You love the coonery. You love the fentanyl. You love the alcohol. You love poverty. That's what love mean to y'all. That ain't no love to me. When somebody love me, they protect me. They got my best interest like the Triple OG do. Ain't that right, Triple OG?
True. That's it.
Don't you love me, Triple OG?
Love you, brother.
Oh, no, right. All right. Yeah, and I also love the strip club. Yeah.
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 You gotta keep him out of it. Yeah, you
gotta keep me out of it, man. Yeah. But anyway, that's what I'm talking about, man. We gotta find the true definition of love because we gotta put love back in our community. And love in our community is not going up to somebody who in special education or on fentanyl or on alcohol and interview them and you knowing they on a controlled substance and you know they kind of slow. That's what I'm talking about. I went to Catholic school. You know why I went to Catholic school? Because I became the blind pope.
That's it. Blind pope.
Yeah. So I had a right to say that because I love my community. I am the blind pope. All right, people. We're going to be right back. We got St. Louis County Prosecutor Wesley Bell just pulled up to the city, and we're going to answer those critics that's been talking about him on the radio, been talking about him in public.
Yes.
Just going off script on the man. Want to call him all out his name. But guess what? Blind City said, I'm going to interview him myself.
And clean his bullshit up.
I don't go alone to get along. You're going to come talk to me, and then I'm going to judge your character when you're in front of me. But I tell you this, I'm not voting for Cori Bush, and any of you fools got a problem with it, that's cool. Come on my show, and let's talk about it. Bring your ass into the lion's den and see what happens. We'll be right back after these messages with St. Louis Prosecutor Wesley Bell just pulled up to the city.
These prisons, the school to prison pipeline, that's all a reality. You know, we're seeing it. And it's not hard to go to jail, but they make it a lot easier, you know, telling our kids, or basically encouraging them to be a lot less than who they are. It's degrading, it devalues them, it disrespects them. It tells them to be, it dehumanizes us, it degrades us.
Let me say this about Taylor Swift. Oh boy, that's a beautiful white woman. And she is slim. Slim, got an ironing board body. Whoa. And make all the money. And all you niggas are going to get new breasts and booty and your hair done, long ass fingernails. And you still can't get accepted by America. Don't feel bad for me, brother. I had to lose my sight to find my vision, Gip. When I had sight, Gip, I had no vision. I was in the strip clubs every night. I was making it rain. I was sleeping with multiple women. I was buying a lot of cars with rims, materialism. My mindset was so fragile, brother.
We supposed to see each other. We were supposed to talk. My mistake would have been not taking that call. That would have cost me somewhat. So I appreciate you for having me on the show.
Make sure that you guys are listening to blindcitypodcast.com.
blindcitythepodcast.com. Truth to power. Blind City the podcast, leading the people out the darkness into the light. Giving the power back to the people. And we have a special guest, a powerful guest, a guest that's trying to clean up the city of criminals, trying to put everybody back on the right path so they can have liberty and freedom in their communities. But the city and county is kind of under chaos right now. It's a lot going on. And I had to put the call in to Wesley Bell. We're going to talk about it. He just pulled up to the city with his staff, and they inside the city. Mr. Bell, welcome to the city. How you doing?
Man, I'm good. And honored to be here with you, pulling up on the city. But yeah, I'm happy to be here, and yeah, let's go. Let's do it.
Well, yeah, let's get right into it. Before we go into you running for Congress, let's talk to the critics for a minute. Let's get that out the way first, okay? A lot of people in the community kind of feel like they were, what's the word? They kind of felt upset with your decision still today concerning about the reopening of the Mike Brown case. Speaking with some people, they said you ran your campaign and you made a promise to Mike Brown Sr., who was along with Brother Shaheed back in the day over at the Goody Goody restaurant. Used to be Goody Goody, it's now gone, but over on Goodfellow, you met with them when you were running for prosecutor, and they kind of said you made a promise to them that you was going to reopen the case. And you did win, and you got in office. You got you took out the racist Bob McCullum. Yeah, I said it. And what I personally think about the situation is sometimes our people don't understand the protocols. Our people don't understand the liabilities and things you have to do your research on, your due diligence to even get a case to pick up and to make sure you're effective with that case where you can get justice for the case. And I want you to elaborate to the people. Again, I know you've done it before, but can you kind of break it down why this case couldn't pursue? Because you might have had intentions of doing that, but what drew you back?
So there was a lot in there. So I even took a few notes to make sure I can address everything you asked me because they're all legitimate questions. And I know some people, I've talked about this in different mediums, but everybody, you're not going to be able to reach everyone. So let's get right into that. And so first and foremost, you mentioned that the decision not to prosecute upset a lot of people. My response is that the decision not to prosecute upset me. With any family that has lost a loved one, we want to bring them justice. But we are limited by the law, and we have to follow the law. And as you know, and as many others may know, our job is not based on feelings and what we might want to do or what we might want to see, but based on the evidence and what the law says. And so that's what that decision is based on. And I want to add a little bit of context. The investigative unit with the most resources in the world is the Department of Justice. And they investigated this matter and also came to the same conclusion that there was not enough evidence to bring charges. And now, keep in mind, we're coming 6 years later. Now, and let me give some context to that. They call the show The First 48 because in the first 48 hours is when the crime scene is any investigation is most effective when evidence is fresh, memories are fresh,
Absolutely.
DNA is fresh. So that first 48 hours is key.
Critical.
So now you're talking 6 years later. So we are limited by the previous investigations, which included the Department of Justice, which included the St. Louis County Prosecuting Attorney's Office at the time. And so we did a deep dive into that case. And this is a perfect segue into the second question that you asked about the campaign promises. And I want to be clear. I challenge anybody to find one interview, one social media post of me ever promising to prosecute someone. First of all, I would never do that. Secondly, it's unethical. And so that conversation that you had And there were other folks there who have talked about this and confirmed what I said. I said I talked with both of them, who I have a lot of respect for, particularly Mr. Brown Sr. And what I told them is I cannot promise that I will prosecute this officer because, the evidence is what it is, and then the investigations are what they are. But what I did promise is that we would look into it and we would give it a second look with a fresh set of eyes. And we absolutely did that. If there was evidence to prosecute someone who was charged with killing a young man, particularly in this region with this kind of attention to it, don't you think that I would want to prosecute the case? That's what people don't understand. Like, people will make careers off of prosecuting those kind of cases. Now, that's not what it's about, but I'm just saying, they got their fame from cases like that. You're right, and they make money off that. Exactly, and 5 years in, I think we have a track record of showing that if a case is there to be brought, we're gonna bring it. And it is what it is. And then I'll just say this before you get to your next question, that anytime any family loses a loved one, listen, man, I can only imagine what they're going through. Yeah, in that manner. In that manner, absolutely. And with this family, and I've said this before too, they didn't even get a chance to grieve privately. This case was all over the world. And so I've always tried to respect their wishes, and I just know in this job that if you're able to prosecute, the families love it. They love you, they love it. But if you're not, I don't care what the evidence shows, what the law says. If you're not able to prosecute, they're just not going to be happy. And I don't blame them. I can't blame them at all, because I would want to feel like I got justice as well. So I get that, and I'm always I keep them in my prayers. I understand, and as far as like how they feel as best as I can understand and relate. But it's just a horrible situation to lose a child in that manner, and I for one have the most respect for that family.
Let me ask you this before we go to the next question. When you did do your research on everything once you got in office, I guess you had to look over the same decision Bob McCullum made too as well, right? Did you go over his notes?
I did go through it. I'll tell you what we did though is from a process standpoint. We didn't take we gave more deference to the Department of Justice investigation than that one. I had some qualms with some of the investigation that was done from the office prior to us getting in, but we looked at everything. Okay. We looked at every piece of evidence. We looked at testimony, because what a lot of people don't realize is that stuff that people talked about on interviews is not the same thing oftentimes what they said when they were under oath.
That's what I'm talking about.
And you may not have heard about that on television or social media. Because people, when they're not under oath and there's no consequences, you can say whatever you want to say. But when the DOJ and folks brought them in under oath, testimony was different than what a lot of people heard.
Yeah, that's fair enough for me, brother. Like I say, I just hope the people, our people got to understand in our community, Mr. Bell, just being black and being a political official is hard. It's a lot of pressure that's put on black politicians. And we known in the city of St. Louis when they had some politicians go to jail. Right. So when politicians do things behind the people, when you're supposed to stand for the people start losing hope. That's why I think where we at in St. Louis. When I speak to people in the streets, man, they are disgusted what's going on in politics right now. Goes into my next question. Brother Shaheed, great activist in the community, definitely speaks his mind, but he's been coming at you. I don't know how much you are aware of this on the Mary Bosley show. And I know one of he's upset with you is still over the Mike Brown situation with that, which you just addressed to me. So hopefully he will listen to this and hopefully get a different perspective and understand. But how do you feel about that? And not just with him, just leaders in the community that might have their own way, how they look at things, how they should have been done and you didn't do it, and they kind of put you in the line of fire.
Yeah, you know, and I haven't listened firsthand, so everything I've heard has been secondhand. And I'll just say it's disappointing because there's some people that, you know, at one time I had a lot of respect for. And for me, if you have a problem with someone, man to man, you come talk to that person.
That's why I pulled you up to the city.
I appreciate that. And also, you know, the same folks who talk about that they want to build up African Americans will be the first to tear you down as soon as if they just disagree with you on something. And you're right, it is a tough job. Now, at the same time, you're not gonna hear me complaining because I signed up for this job. I wasn't thrust into the job. I signed up for it, so I'm not gonna complain about it.
It comes with the job.
It does come with it to a certain extent. To a certain extent. Some of it is a little above and beyond, but I mean, you know the saying, dogs don't bark at parked cars. What we actually did promise, which was criminal justice reform, because we know that a disproportionate number of people who look like us are on the business end of the criminal justice system. And these are the facts of what we've done. We talked about we wanted to decrease jail populations for low-level nonviolent offenders. We were able to do that by 30% in St. Louis County. We talked about we wanted to expand treatment programs because we got a lot of people struggling with substance abuse who get locked up. They start the cycle of incarceration, and then we take someone who was not a criminal but for their disease. We start sending them through the prison system, and now they graduate to serious and violent crimes. So we want to expand treatment for people struggling with substance abuse, dealing with substance use disorders, struggling with mental health issues, struggling with opioids, whatever you want to talk about, so we can connect them to the treatment and get them out of that cycle. And we've been able to get now 2,500 people who the overwhelming number would have gone to jail at some point for some length of time, did not go to jail. But we know the overwhelming majority of people that touch the criminal justice system. And so we know that when we reform that system, we know that it does impact a lot of Black and brown folks. And so I'm proud of that work. And that not only helps people, but it also helps public safety, and because we know that those are the people who, if you know, most people that are inclined to commit serious and violent offenses don't start there. They start at the low level stuff. And if you address those underlying issues, they are significantly less likely to graduate to the serious and violent offenses. And of those 2,500 people, a 96 to 97% success rate. Listen, if you want to complain about some stuff we haven't been able to do, that's fine. But make sure you mention the stuff that we said we were going to do and the fact that it's working.
I like that, man. You watch sports a lot, don't you?
I absolutely do.
You love football, don't you?
I do.
You just stiffed on that, what I said, and you just ran in for a touchdown.
Hey,
you elusive. I like that.
Listen,
I like that.
The work at the end of the day, and, you know, the way I look at it is, you know, we have an opportunity to impact this region in a positive way and help people and help move this region forward. And you're not going to be able to make everybody happy. That's the first lesson I learned in this job. You're not going to be able to.
Well, this is the problem I have with it, though. Mm-hmm. And this is good conversation. And I hope our people that tune into this understand we as Black people, even if we have a problem with each other, you got to understand our kids are watching us. You know why our kids are so out of control, brother? The parents don't have conflict resolution. Mm-hmm. So how the kids gonna have it if the parents don't have it? If the leadership in the community doesn't have it? The kids follow what they see. You cannot blame the kid. Going back to that Hazelwood East fight. We're going to get back to that. We're going to get back to that. Oh, yeah, we're going to get back to that. But what I'm saying is we got to learn how to come to the table like how you pulled up to the city. And I'm saying this, to anybody out there, because I don't take no sides. And everybody know, Langford Cunningham, I stand on my own 2 feet. I don't belong to no clique, no organization, no fraternity. I stand on my own 2 feet. I don't go alone to get along. But we got some of these leaders in our community, they'll go alone to get along. They'll say something about you, but won't say a damn thing about Cori Bush. Now let me bring this up. Did you meet with the civil rights activist Percy Green?
Yeah, I know Percy.
Then Percy them write you a letter and they wanted to meet with you after you announced that you were running against Miss Bush, and they wanted to meet with you, and I think you met with them, right?
Absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely.
You went right there to them and explained to them why you're running, correct?
Indeed.
Okay. He was on the Bosley show this past Saturday, and he made a statement that you did address it, and you told them why. And they still kind of disagreed with it because they're looking at it from the angle, she black, you black. But see, I disagreed with Percy Green. I don't give a damn if you white, orange, or yellow. I want the person that's going to do the job for the people in the community. And Miss Bush has let the people down. And if you think I'm lying, it's not just me thinking about that in St. Louis saying that. It's people around the country saying that. Matt on the track, can you play the video of Tariq Nasheed?
Yeah, as we know, the people of St. Louis, y'all know that Cori has not done anything for the black people in St. Louis. And look, when the things were going down with Mike Brown, I was out there trying to get them Negro politicians to help the black community out there. These Negroes were doing everything they could to find a butter biscuit from white mommy, white daddy. They were not doing anything for the community there. I'm giving them money to allocate to the community. I'm literally writing thousands of dollars of checks out there in St. Louis to try to get them to give the money to the community. That's why we started a nonprofit, so that we can just start dealing with people directly, because these politicians were too coonified. But y'all sit up here and let these people run that black girl magic on you, and you think you're going to get the mammy severance package, and then it backfires on you.
Stop it. That's what I'm talking about. They going to give her a pass, but attack you. At least you got some things done for the county. You just named the things. What can she name? All I know is when they had the high school shooting, she used the mother of the daughter that got killed, that got brutally murdered by the guy that was mentally dealing with health issues. We didn't see Cori. I definitely can't see her. But when CNN came to town, MSNBC, she showed up and threw a town hall meeting. And then went back to D.C. We didn't hear nothing else she did to try to ensure the people of the community she was going to address these high school shooters. And at that time, high school shootings was happening all around the country. So that's what I don't like, when black leadership in our community want to choose a side. No, ain't no choosing no side. If you're going to go at one, you go at all of them that's not doing their job. That's what I don't like, Mr. Percy Green.
So now here's my thing. I'm not going to comment on what the individual said on the recording. You know, I'm not speaking for that. I'm speaking for myself.
But I'm just letting everybody know it's just not coming from St. Louis. It's all around people commenting on this.
And there's some validity to that. So for me, you know, I look at it as, you know, this is my community. This is where I'm from. You know, I went to Hazelwood East, which, you know, the school that you brought up, which was in the news recently, unfortunately, but I know they do a lot of great things as well.
No, absolutely.
I was educated here. You know, I went to Lindenwood, I went to Mizzou, and then came back here to work, and this is where I'm from. So for me, doing these kind of jobs, public service, you got to do the work. These are temporary jobs. We serve at the pleasure of the public, and you have to. And if you're not going to show up and do the work, then you don't deserve to sit in the chair. And I think that we have a problem with some, not all, but we have some politicians, you know, kind of looking at this as like something to do, as opposed to what can I really do to benefit my community. You know, and I'll give you a specific example. When you talk about police reform, when you go back to 2014, that was the biggest issue. We want to see not the police defunded. We want to see the police improve. We want to see community policing. But in order to improve policing, you got to have relationships with police. You're not going to improve police just by talking. You got to have them at the table. And so while some people were just yelling and talking about what needed to be done, there were some of us who were actually building those relationships, working with folks and getting things done. And I'll give you a perfect example. One of the complaints was departments investigating their own police-involved shootings, because a lot of people look at that as a conflict. Because the honest truth is that if I'm friends with you, it does compromise my investigation of you. And so without any changes in legislation, Jeff City didn't propose any legislation or change any legislation. There was no county or city legislation changed. We got departments to agree on their own not to prosecute their own police investigations. No legal changes, we created a Chiefs Advisory Council with chiefs representing the entire county. We sat down, we made our case and said, hey, we can't do this. This is what the public wants to see. We had some ideas that they didn't agree with. They had some ideas we didn't agree with, but ultimately we reached a resolution that made sense. And so now each department has another department do their investigations, and that's from those relationships. That's it. No changes in statute, no changes in the law. We did that from building relationships. And that's what we've been doing in everything that we've been able to reform in the criminal justice system since I've gotten in office. Our diversion program, there was no changes in the laws. We didn't even get any budget support to expand, to create our diversion program. We created those positions. We repurposed other positions because we thought that was important. Our conviction incident review unit that investigates wrongful prosecutions and police use of force cases, we didn't get any budget to create those. We repurposed positions and created them on our own because I believe your budget decisions reflect your values. So this was important for me, so we got it done. And so some people want to talk and they like to, and sometimes in our community, we like to hear the people that can talk good. But at the end of the day, I'm about doing good. Talk less, do more. That's what you're going to get from me. So some people want me to be loud and do all this stuff. I'd rather just get things done. And that's what I'm going to continue to do.
Action speaks louder than words.
Every day, twice on Sunday.
We'll be right back. BlindCityPodcast.com. Wesley Bell, Chaos Our Community. BlindCityPodcast.com. We got Wesley Bell just pulled up to the city. What an interview right now. People are really paying attention, listening what's going on, catching the pulse of the city. He's breaking it down, and he took the challenge on to come on Blind City to address the critics and also to address the accomplishments he's made since he's been in office, and also talking about things he's also still trying to get across, working over there in St. Louis County. Let's get back to it. We're on the road right now. I forgot the young mother's name, but it's another lady. We have another carnival barker, okay? Mm-hmm. We're going to call them carnival barkers. Heard on a radio show, I guess the mother, and you may can help me with this. She said she wrote letters to you about her son being hung in the backyard. Couple Ferguson activists have been murdered. You know about Darren Seal. I don't know the other guy's name. But the one I'm particularly talking about, she found her son hung in the backyard. You know who I'm talking about?
I know which case you're talking about, yes.
Okay. Did she write you?
They have reached out to us, and I'll tell you exactly what we told them because our office has met with them. This is a case that not only did St. Louis County investigate, but also the FBI investigated. And this is understanding our criminal justice system. Our office is not an investigative body. We do very little investigations. We do the prosecution. So we have to rely on our law enforcement partners to do the investigation. They present us a case, and then we prosecute that case along with them. And so when both investigative bodies reach the same conclusion, there's really not much that we can do. Now, with that said, if a matter, and I'm going to talk in general terms, if a matter is a potential homicide, there's no statute of limitations. So if we ever get evidence to change that decision, then we will prosecute it. And I'll give you an example. The young man, Mr. Ferguson, young Mr. Ferguson, that was 18 years after that young child was killed. And when I got into office, that case, we reopened that case. We looked at that case, and it was the same situation where I was not going to promise that I could prosecute the case, but I was asked to look at it with a fresh set of eyes, and that's the least we can do to any grieving family. So we looked at it. But in this case, we actually had new evidence to prosecute the case. Witnesses that would not come forward before were willing to come forward now. And not only were we able to prosecute that case, but we were able to convict it's a tragic situation, but we were able to convict the father for his actions and his role in that young man dying. The bottom line is that we're limited by the law. We can only do what the law and the evidence.
I remember that case,
yeah,
right?
We can only do what the evidence suggests.
I remember that case.
But if we can, we will. But if we don't have the evidence and these investigative bodies, and we're not talking about some small, maybe some small department or something. We're talking about the FBI looked in these cases. It is what it is at this point, unfortunately.
And what did they find with the hanging? Did they find foul play, or they think the kid committed suicide?
Without going into it,
okay.
Going into it, but there was. I'll just say this: they did not find enough evidence to support fouling,
okay.
a finding of foul play.
Okay.
But if there's anything I take away from the job is that you're never gonna make the family happy when you can't prosecute, because they want justice, and I understand that, and I will never hold that criticism against anyone.
Absolutely, and what's really sad about it is you got people who's running for a political position, but they want to use that situation to manipulate the people to come at you to get votes.
And that I have a problem with. I think there's a lot.
To me, that's down as dirty as black on black crime.
And I think there's a lot of people. And again, I'm not putting names out there. I'm not going to do that because it doesn't apply to everyone. But there's a lot of people who have made their names off of this kind of publicity, and so they're invested in, like you said, the chaos, not the community. And when they are feeding the flames with a family who's already hurting and lost a loved one, I think it is terrible. Because I think that's when we need our village. We need our village. And I know a lot of people who have met with some of these families who have lost loved ones and tried to, hey, I understand what you're saying, but if you listen to them, they're doing what they can, but they can't do it. But then there's a lot of people who aren't. And I have a problem with. If a family member is upset with me because we can't prosecute, even if there's nothing I can do about it, never take that personal. But when people are exploiting the pain of families, I got a problem with that. And those are the people that lose my respect.
I agree with you. And that's what's going on in our community. To me, that's worse like black on black crime. And we have to stop that. We have to come together and talk things out, because we got people running for office, but they want to use the other person as a scapegoat to push that negative manipulation to our people, and to a people who's already upset and already dealing with the trauma in our community.
And I think there are certain things that should be off limits, and there's only a few things. Hey, politics is fair game, but exploiting the pain of a suffering family, that's off limits with me. That's off limits with me. And if you do it, then it's a special place down below that I think you're gonna have to explain yourself at some point to your guy.
Briefly, real quick, the Hazelwood East, everybody saw the video. I know you saw it.
Yes.
I haven't seen it, but people described it to me very well. But let me say this, then I'll let you, whatever you can, because I know that case is still going. Whatever you can say on that, I appreciate it. If you can't say nothing, I appreciate it. But let me say this. Online, that social media, man, you got a lot of people trying to play the black and white. It ain't about black and white. These are kids. It's not about black or white. These are kids. What I have a problem with is the idiots with the phones recording it. Nobody wants to intervene. I wish we can pass a bill, Mr. Bell. If you record a fight, send somebody whose life may be in danger, and you don't do nothing to break it up and intervene, but you pull your phone out to record it, it needs to be a $5,000 fine or put their ass in jail. And if they too young, we need to lock their mama up.
Well, I can't even really argue with you, to be honest with you, because that is, and let me just say this to the people listening. I try myself to go to crime scenes, and I've gone to a good portion of them since I've been prosecutor, and I've seen some terrible things. Some involving children. I've seen some terrible things, and there's only a handful of things that stick with me. Most of them I'm able to compartmentalize and keep it moving. There's a handful of things that have stuck with me that, I think about. And that's one of them. Because, just relating when I was younger, you have a fight here and there. But if somebody was hurt, first of all, we're not taking it to that level. And then if somebody is accidentally hurt, it's like, everybody's just like, shut it down. We got to get them some help. And so to see the lack of empathy, the lack of any kind of caring, I mean, after this young girl appears to be having a seizure and potentially dying maybe, nobody even went to her aid. They just continue. Like, what argument is more important than some young person, and I don't care what they look like, white, black, brown, or what have you, a child, a 15-year-old child potentially dying, and that's not enough to get past your petty argument? Or, we shouldn't even have got to that point, but that bothered me on so many levels. Now, with that said, as far as the case, I think people have to understand the law in Missouri.
Here we go again.
And in Missouri,
hold up. Understand the law. Listen to what he's saying. Okay, Mr. Bell.
In Missouri, we have a wall between juvenile and adult courts.
Mm-hmm.
So when people are asking me, I'm telling you, the reason I felt the need to respond is that so many people were justifiably asking, you need to prosecute this case. Well, it's a juvenile case. Not only can we not prosecute it, we don't have any authorization or legal authority to even investigate it. So I learn a lot about it just like everybody else does. And that only changes if and when it is certified, if the case is certified.
So that means if
she's certified
as an adult.
If the defendant is certified as an adult.
Correct.
And even then, I don't have any input. I have very little input in that decision. So the way it works is that if the juvenile court decides to set a certification hearing, at that point, we can at least give an opinion on what we think. But up until that point, we don't get any reports, updates.
Listen, people.
We don't have any authorization. I learn about it just like you all do. The only reason I even know the name of either party is because it was out on social media. But we don't get any updates on juvenile cases because the juvenile system is designed to protect juveniles and their privacy. And I did a lot of juvenile work in my previous life, if you will. So I know this. We protect juveniles because at some point they're going to get older and we don't want that stigma following them. So that's by design. So it's not about me not wanting to prosecute or not prosecuting. Right now, all I seen is the video. I don't know what juncture this investigation is because we are not a party to it at this point unless it's certified.
I hope the people heard this. And for you politicians that's running for a seat, don't use that against Mr. Bell thinking he's the one taking over the case. He just told you he's not taking over the case. That's up to the juvenile department to handle that case. So understand that. Mr. Bell, you're running for Congress. Anything more you want to let the people know why they should vote for you?
What I think is that we have a lot of issues right here at home. Right here at home.
49th in education with the public schools.
The
49th.
The gun violence, the lack of opportunities, which I think are all intertwined, and all of them play into the things that we see. And so I think that we need people who are going to go up there and build the coalitions to bring resources back home. Because let me explain to you. Our government is designed on getting a majority to get anything done. So you can talk the loudest, you can sit outside all you want for whatever you want to do. But in order to bring the resources home, you have to build coalitions to get legislation passed, to get money, to get resources back at this home, to get back resources home. And so let me give you this quick little analogy. So there are certain resources that are coming to our district, regardless of who is the congressperson, because there's legislation that's been passed. And so there's resources that are coming. If there's a vacancy, those resources are still coming. Anything beyond that, you have to go up and bring it. You got to go up and build the relationships and bring those resources home. Pass legislation to bring it home. And currently, our congressperson has not passed one single piece of legislation. Is open about the fact that she does not work with the party, even the Black Caucus for the most part. So, what are you doing? And then I'll add, has voted against the party more than everyone except maybe 4 congresspersons, has missed 22% of the votes, which is about 55 votes that she's missed. And why that's important is that means that those are 22% of the votes that our district did not even get representation. And that goes back to my previous argument. You got to show up. This job is about showing up. And so if you're not showing up and you're not hearing from your constituents and knowing what is important to your constituents, you're not able to represent them effectively. So you're not here, you're not there. Where are you? And people were criticizing me because when she announced that she was leaving, like, oh, well, that means that you're supporting whoever's in that office. We're going to support him because what happens in the city impacts the county and vice versa. And I'm not going to hide from these situations. Ferguson happened. There's a lot of people who they didn't show up, or they showed up when it was like safe. No, I ran for city council. So we're right in the middle of it. I'm not going to hide from these situations. We're going to be there. We're going to be on the ground. We're going to hear from our constituents. I'm not going to do anything I can't defend or can explain. And you know what you're going to get from me. And that's exactly what I think we need more of, and what I'm going to bring to DC.
That's what I'm talking about, Mr. Bell. Action speaks louder than words. You got to have your boots planted in the ground to reach the people, and you got to be reachable for the people. And she has not been. She's reachable to Mike Brown, though. She flew him and his wife out there, gave them a field trip. She didn't fly the mother of the daughter who was slain over the visual performing arts. So that's what I'm talking about. So, brother, I'm going to say this, and I'm going to put this out here to the streets. I got your back.
Yeah, appreciate it.
You got my vote. Anybody got a problem with it, you can come on my show and talk to me if you want to. But I'm going with the vote with Mr. Bell over Cori Bush. She hasn't done nothing in our city. And the only bill she did get was a marriage certificate. That's it, brother.
I ain't going there.
That's all she got. That's the only certificate she bringing back to St. Louis. I got married. She left Ferguson and went all the way to D.C. to find her husband. Huh. Man, I tell you, only in St. Louis, brother. Only in St. Louis. Mr. Bell, thank you for pulling up to the city, man. I appreciate it. And I also like to thank you for what you did for Orlando Watson, man. Giving him that proclamation. And you and his relationship, he spoke good about you to me a lot of times, man. And he really believed in you, brother. But that was a grateful thing you did for Orlando Watson, his proclamation. And I hope you continue to honor other people in the community that are really grassroots and trying to make a difference in our community. Because we got to recognize the smaller people who are really got their boots on the ground. They don't get the highlight. They don't get the stage, brother. And we got some people really out here trying to make a difference.
Yeah, Orlando was, man, he was just, you got those people who don't care about the attention. They just doing their thing and helping as many people as they can. And and uplifting so many people that you'll never even hear about or never even know because they're not doing it for the publicity. And that was Orlando. And I was one of those people that he poured into to uplift. And first, Mr. Brother, I mean, he's just one of those transformational people. Those, you know, you got dreamers and you got people who actually are able to effectuate those dreams into something tangible. And that was Orlando. And the region misses him. So
absolutely. Thank you for pulling up to the city, bro. Yeah, the DJ. Thank you for pulling up to the city, bro.
And my pleasure, anytime.
And when you win, brother, the blind man is coming to DC with you, brother. You don't forgive me. I got all your staff numbers, brother. You cannot hide from the blind man. I find a lot of people. They be like, how the hell you do that? You blind. Don't worry about it. I got eyes in the streets, brother.
Hey, you ain't got to look for us. You're invited.
We got you, brother.
But we got to get there first, so we're going to put the work in.
Oh, yeah. Well, we're going to promote you on this show. Don't worry about that, brother. All right, blindcitypodcast.com.
What's up, blindcitypodcast.com. It's your girl, Michaela McGee. When I'm just chilling, hanging out, I love to listen to blindcitypodcast.com. They bring all the real, we talk about community, real issues going on affecting real people. Make sure that you guys are listening to blindcitypodcast.com.
If you found this content helpful, please share this video and subscribe to our YouTube channel, Blind City, the podcast.